On Monday, the Nueces County grand jury found a Corpus Christi police officer was justified for shooting a young man he believed was holding a weapon, which turned out to be a lighter. And police never know what type of situations they will face on a daily basis. Marissa Cummings takes a closer look at the CCPD Academy on how they prepare before hitting the streets.
This classroom is going to be filled with 35 new cadets embarking on a journey to become a Corpus Christi police officer. They begin on Monday, and they have their work cut out for them, spanning 32 weeks.
We provide over 1,300 hours of training. The state requires 676 hours of training. We double that in training, combined classroom and hands-on training.
That's Robert Chapa. He's an instructor at the training academy. Chapa says the academy begins with more classroom-based work, like understanding different types of laws and traffic codes. And further into the course, the training becomes more physical. Chapa says the cadets learn different defense tactics, firearms, force on force, and all-around physical fitness. On top of all that training, he says they introduce stress inoculation from day one, meaning putting cadets in a stressful situation so that once they graduate, they know how to stay level-headed.
We put them in scenarios that will make them slow down, calm down, and start thinking correctly.
Once the cadets graduate, they're required to do continued training outside of the academy, and that goes for all CCPD officers. Marissa Cummings, 3 News.